It's Saturday. You took the weekend off. You slept in and did nothing. You did the same thing on Sunday. Then Monday came. You're still as exhausted as you were on Friday. Maybe even more. You tell yourself that you need to go on a vacation, a week off or go to the Bahamas or something. So you go. You unplugged, had a massage, ate good food, you were relaxed, and then you came back. And within 3 days, just like you never left, you're still exhausted. If that sounds familiar, this video is for you. What you felt isn't simple tiredness, it's burnout, and a quick vacation doesn't really fix it. In the next few minutes, we're going to break down what burnout is, why it's not the same as being tired, why the things everyone tells you to do don't actually work, and what's really happening in your body and brain when you're in it. I'm not telling you to meditate, or to write your feelings in a journal, or have a bubble bath. Well, maybe those help a little bit, but not at all at the same time. What we're going to do is actually break down what's happening. Most people spend years treating burnout like exhaustion, not realizing it isn't. We've been treating burnout like tiredness, like the solution is to get 8 hours of sleep, avoid late nights, take days off, and do more self-care. And for a while, sure, it kind of works. You feel better, but the moment you go back to work, it still comes back. Burnout and exhaustion are not the same thing. Exhaustion is your body saying you need to stop, rest, sleep, then you recover and you go again. Burnout is something different. Burnout is your body saying that it's been running on empty for so long, it has forgotten what full feels like, what the recovery phase feels like. So, how do you know which is which? The World Health Organization officially recognizes burnout as an occupational phenomenon, defined by 3 specific things: emotional exhaustion, cynicism, and a reduced sense that anything you do actually matters. That last one, that's the one that changes everything. Because when you're tired, you still care. You're just too tired to do something about it. But when you're burned out, you stop caring about the job, about the goals, and sometimes even about yourself. Burnout doesn't just arrive overnight. It's not like a flu where someone sneezes on you and then boom, you have it. It accumulates quietly over the years, sometimes even within just months. Researchers actually mapped out how burnout develops. It starts with an ambition. You just finished your studies and it's now time to start showing the world what you got. You start a job, you genuinely excited. You care about it, maybe even too much. You go above and beyond. You stay late, not because you have to, but because you want to. You check emails on weekends. You volunteer for the extra project. You are that person, and it feels good for a while. The effort stays the same, but the return starts to feel smaller. The recognition doesn't come. The promotion goes to somebody else, and it's starting to feel you're not enough. But you work harder because that's what you were taught. Work harder, push through, be the one who doesn't quit. And then, without realizing it, you start withdrawing, not just from work, but also from yourself. You stop doing things you love outside of work because you're too tired. Weekends are reserved for resting instead of going out. You stop feeling things about your job, whether it's good or bad. You just don't care anymore. Wake up, eat, work, sleep. That's all you do every day. You work when you're awake, and you sleep when you're not. And then, one day, you sit at your desk and you realize you don't actually remember why you wanted this. That's not a bad day. That's burnout. And a lot of us are sitting in it right now, calling it normal. So why doesn't rest fix it? Because burnout isn't just in your mind. It's in your nervous system. Think about it this way. Your stress response is like a fire alarm. When it goes off, you respond. You deal with the emergency. Then the alarm turns off and normal life resumes. That's how our nervous system's supposed to work. Spike, then recover. Alarm on, alarm off. But when you're under constant stress, the kind that comes from an impossible deadline or a toxic environment, That's like a fire alarm that is constantly on. Your nervous system goes into survival mode, fight or flight, constantly, day after day, week after week. But when the stress never fully stops, the recovery never fully happens. And over time, your nervous system stops being able to return to its baseline. Even when nothing is technically wrong, your body is still running the emergency program. So when you take that vacation, your body rests, but the stress is still running, just on pause. And the moment you go back, it picks up exactly where it left off. You might think burnout is about working too many hours. I did too. Burnout often refers to a mismatch between you and your work environment. Meaning, if the environment is right, you can work long hours and not burn out. And you can work reasonable hours and burn out completely if the environment is wrong. Specifically, there are a few ways to predict burnout. One is having lack of control. When you have no say in how you do your work, what you work on, or when you do it. It's a difference between you choosing to stay late to work on something you care about versus being told you have to stay late on something that doesn't matter. Another thing is the invisible effort. When you work hard, it goes unnoticed, uncredited, unrewarded. It's like filling a bucket with the sunk hole on the bottom. You keep pouring, it never fails. Your brain starts asking, what is this even for? There is also meaninglessness. When the thing you spend 40 or 50 hours a week doing stops feeling connected to anything you actually value. Imagine spending every day building something, but you never get to see what it becomes, or who it helps, or even if it matters at all. That's where the cynicism comes from. Not you being ungrateful, but being a person whose basic psychological needs for meaning is not being met. Every single day, for years. And no amount of sleep fixes a meaning problem. A lot of burnout solutions gives you a list. Set better boundaries. Practice self-care. Find work-life balance. And yes, well, none of that is wrong, but it puts the entire problem in you. You need to do this to be this. Most of the time, your environment is a problem, and you cannot just self-care your way out of a broken system. If you're burned out right now, it's not because you're weak, not because you can't handle pressure, not because someone else would do well in your position. It might just mean you've been pushing through something that hasn't been working for way too long. Your body, your nervous system, eventually stopped pretending it was fine. That's not failure, that's information. The first thing you do with information is to look at it, not push through it, not slip it off. What actually feels off? What stopped feeling worth it? When did you stop having any say? So if you're sitting at your desk right now feeling like a ghost, stop blaming yourself for not being productive enough. You aren't failing at your job. Your job is failing your body. The first step isn't a checklist or a hack. It's just being honest. It's admitting that you've been running on empty for so long that you've forgotten what full even feels like. You don't need a vacation. You need to look at the environment you're in and realize it was never built to sustain you. It was built to extract things from you. And now, you've got nothing left to give. That's the truth. I don't have a perfect answer. Nobody does. Well, at least now you know what you're actually dealing with. And that's a place to start. Anyway, if you're still here, that either means this helped or you had nothing else to do today. Either way, subscribe, new video every week. Till next week, bye!